In the quiet suburbs of Georgia, a community was left reeling after a tragic event that claimed the life of a devoted mother. Maya Simmons, a 30-year-old woman known for her unwavering dedication to her 8 children, became the victim of a senseless act of violence. Her life was cut short in a place meant for celebration, a local nightclub, where she was ambushed and fatally shot by her ex-partner.
Tessa, Birch's attorney says she and Simmons got in a fight outside of the Bloom Room.
A mother of 8 last month is pleading self-defense. That's according to her attorney at today's bond court hearing. News 4's Conley Grayson was there and joins us now. And Conley, what does her attorney say happened?
Now, he said Birch was about to leave in her car when Simmons charged at her. That's when Birch shot and killed Simmons. Birch is charged with manslaughter and possession of a deadly weapon during the commission of a violent crime. And today, a judge gave her a surety bond. After the hearing, I talked with Jennifer Ferguson, Simmons' grandmother, who says Birch's story can't be true.
Maya Jennifer couldn't kill you with her hands. She didn't have a gun. It's not self-defense. It's not stand your ground.
We don't have that law.
We don't even have that law here in South Carolina. That's in Florida. We're not in Florida. You made a bad decision.
What drives someone to commit such a heinous act? How does a relationship turn so toxic? If you're captivated by real crime stories that peel back the layers of truth, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Your support means a world to us as we uncover real cases, raise awareness, and give a voice to the voiceless. Before we dive into today's story, we want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? And how do you feel as the story unfolds? Welcome to Deadly Crime Unmasked, the show where we expose the shocking crimes that rip through communities and the chilling secrets lurking behind closed doors. These are real people, real events, real consequences. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications. You won't want to miss the gripping story that's coming up. Now, let's dive in. Maya Simmons lived in Georgia, United States. She was a biological mother of 8 children, all of whom were under the age of 15 at the time of her death. Her life, while not widely publicized before the incident that led to her murder, offers a direct look into the challenges faced by single mothers who take full responsibility for large families in working-class communities. Maya's story is one of resilience and determination. Raising 8 children is no small feat, yet she managed to provide for her family, working multiple jobs and ensuring her children felt loved and supported. Friends and neighbors often spoke of her infectious smile and the warmth she brought into every room. Her life was a testament to strength in the face of adversity. Maya was not married at the time of her death. She had given birth to 8 children over the span of roughly 12 years. The children were all in her full custody, and there were no legal custody battles or state interventions on record prior to the incident. She managed her household alone. Public records confirm that Maya received minimal outside assistance, aside from state-supported programs, such as food assistance, healthcare subsidies, and occasional housing aid. She lived in a rented 3-bedroom apartment located in a modest neighborhood. She shared this space with all 8 of her children. According to local sources, she rotated sleeping arrangements based on children's school schedules, aiming to maintain structure and discipline within a tight space. Despite her responsibilities at home, Maya worked multiple jobs. Her main sources of income included part-time retail shifts, residential cleaning services, and informal sales of used clothing and small household goods online. She did not hold a college degree, but had completed high school. Employment history showed a consistent record of short-term jobs with no major gaps. Maya Simmons was widely recognized by those in her community as a hard-working and disciplined woman. Neighbors describe her as strict but consistent. She upheld routines that included early morning school preparation, evening homework checks, and regular Sunday church attendance. Her level of organization was evident through her ability to manage her children's schedules while balancing work. She was involved in the community, primarily through church events and school functions. Maya attended a local Pentecostal church regularly. Church members confirmed she volunteered during community cleanups and was always present during seasonal activities like holiday drives and youth outreach programs. She did not hold any official position within the church, but she was known as a reliable member. In her children's schools, teachers recalled her attendance at parent-teacher meetings and participation in school functions. She was responsive to feedback about her children's academic performance and made efforts to provide basic educational supplies. Even under financial pressure, her children were reportedly always clean, punctual, and well-behaved. There were no police records or criminal charges filed against Maya. She had no history of substance abuse, violent behavior, or involvement in any criminal activity. Her interactions with law enforcement were limited to standard civil matters, such as housing documentation and neighborhood permit checks. Maya kept her private relationships relatively quiet. It is confirmed that she had multiple partners over the years, which is evident from the age differences among her children. However, none of the fathers were actively involved in raising the children. At the time of her death, she was engaged to a new partner, whose identity remains undisclosed by law enforcement. The engagement was recent, and photos confirming it were posted on her personal social media accounts weeks before the incident. Maya Simmons was in a long-term relationship with Kaisha Simmons Birch for several years prior to her death. The relationship, as described by acquaintances and supported by several interviews, was marked by instability, repeated conflicts, and episodes of control-related behavior. Though it began as a consensual partnership, over time, the dynamic between the two shifted into a pattern that multiple observers would later identify as toxic and damaging. Kaisha Simmons Birch, a woman known within the same Georgia community as Maya, was Maya's romantic partner for an extended period, estimated to be at least 4 years. The exact start date of the relationship is not publicly documented, but sources close to the couple suggest it began around 2018. During this period, Kaisha was actively involved in Maya's household, sharing in parenting responsibilities for Maya's children and participating in various family events. Kaisha was also known to be financially and emotionally connected to Maya. Public appearances of the couple, social media posts, and testimonies from friends indicate that they were perceived as a committed couple by the community. However, behind closed doors, the relationship was reportedly more complex. According to multiple sources familiar with their private interactions, the relationship was marked by regular arguments, long periods of silence, and inconsistent emotional support. Friends and neighbors reported that Maya and Kaisha often had loud disagreements. These conflicts were usually verbal and occasionally escalated to threats or property damage, though no formal charges were filed by either party during the relationship. One consistent pattern that emerged was Kaisha's alleged controlling behavior. Several people close to Maya stated that Kaisha attempted to limit Maya's social interactions, question her decisions regarding the children, and became increasingly possessive as Maya tried to improve her personal and financial independence. Although Maya did not publicly disclose all the details of their problems, subtle signs, such as a reduced online presence during certain periods and avoidance of mutual friends, suggested tension. It's important to note that there were no known police reports or protective orders filed during this time. However, anecdotal accounts from Maya's inner circle indicate that emotional strain and mistrust became major elements of the relationship's decline. The breakup between Maya Simmons and Kaisha Simmons Birch occurred in late 2023. The decision to end the relationship was primarily made by Maya. The stated reasons, according to sources and documented statements from those close to Maya, included irreconcilable differences and a desire for personal growth and stability. Allegations of emotional and verbal abuse also surfaced during this time, though Maya did not pursue legal action. Maya reportedly told close friends that she felt suffocated in the relationship and that her focus was shifting toward her children and long-term goals. This decision did not sit well with Kaisha, who by all accounts did not want a relationship to end. Friends have since shared that Kaisha attempted to reconcile on multiple occasions, sometimes showing up at Maya's residence uninvited. There were no formal custody battles or shared assets that required legal division, as Kaisha was not a biological parent to any of Maya's children. However, the emotional fallout from the breakup was significant. Kaisha remained in the same city and was known to monitor Maya's social media activity and occasionally show up at places Maya frequented. Following the breakup, Maya Simmons made several changes to her lifestyle. She reduced contact with mutual acquaintances, changed her phone number, and moved to a new apartment within the same area. She also returned to full-time work and became more active in her children's academic and extracurricular lives. Maya's focus during this time was centered on stability. She enrolled two of her older children in tutoring programs and began setting up small online businesses to supplement her income. Public posts made during this period show a renewed focus on personal development and family routines. Sometime in early 2024, Maya began a new relationship with a man whose identity is known to law enforcement but not disclosed publicly. This relationship quickly became serious, culminating in an engagement announced on Maya's social media profile just weeks before her death. According to several sources, Kaisha became aware of this engagement, which may have further strained any remaining emotional ties. No restraining order was filed during this period, and no direct threats were documented in official records. However, Maya's friends later told investigators that she had expressed concerns about Kaisha's unpredictable behavior, particularly after the engagement announcement. The relationship between Maya Simmons and Kaisha Simmons Birch was long-term but filled with unresolved issues. The breakup was driven by Maya's desire for emotional safety and a better life for her children. Unfortunately, the fallout from the relationship did not fully end with the separation, and the lingering effects played a role in the tragic events that would later unfold. In the months preceding her death, Maya Simmons entered into a new romantic relationship that would later become a critical element in the events surrounding her murder. The relationship, while not publicized in the mainstream media before her passing, was documented through her social media activity and confirmed through interviews with family members and friends. Maya met her new partner, a 32-year-old male whose identity has been confirmed by authorities but remains undisclosed to the public for legal and privacy reasons. The two were introduced through mutual friends during a birthday event in early 2024. According to sources close to the couple, the introduction was casual, and initial conversations revolve around shared experiences as single parents and their mutual interest in entrepreneurship. Over the following weeks, the relationship developed steadily. Witnesses and friends have described the man as responsible, calm, and employed in a stable administrative position in a local logistics firm. Maya and her partner were reportedly aligned in their values and goals. Those familiar with the relationship stated that he demonstrated consistent support for Maya's lifestyle as a single mother of 8. He often helped with errands, assisted with childcare on weekends, and made financial contributions toward household expenses when necessary. There is no documentation indicating any conflict or volatility in the relationship. The couple was known to attend community events together and was occasionally seen with Maya's children at public parks and grocery stores. Friends have said the children grew comfortable with him and that Maya appreciated the structure and calm he brought into her household. Unlike her previous relationships, which were described as private or low profile, Maya allowed this relationship to be visible to her social circle. She shared images of their outings, made references to him in social media captions, and responded positively to comments suggesting long-term commitment. These public signs of stability were the first indication that Maya may have been planning a permanent future with this individual. The formal proposal occurred on March 9th, 2025, during a family gathering held at Maya's sister's residence in Macon, Georgia. The gathering was organized to celebrate her niece's birthday and included approximately 20 close friends and relatives. During the evening portion of the event, Maya's partner asked to speak briefly to the group and then turned his attention to Maya, proposing in the presence of her family. According to first-hand accounts from attendees, the moment was simple but clear. He presented a modest diamond ring and expressed his desire to build a life with Maya and her children. The proposal was met with cheers and applause from the family. Maya accepted the proposal without hesitation. The event was captured in multiple videos and photographs, which were later posted online. Following the proposal, Maya posted a series of images to her Facebook and Instagram accounts. The photos showed her wearing the engagement ring, smiling alongside her fiancé. One caption read, "New beginnings with the one who truly sees me." Another image featured the ring close-up with the caption, "I said yes." Both posts received hundreds of likes and dozens of comments congratulating her on the engagement. The posts remained public and were visible to both close friends and distant acquaintances. Maya did not delete or restrict access to these images, which indicates that she did not anticipate any danger or controversy resulting from her engagement announcement. Her ex-partner, Kaisha Simmons Birch, was not tagged or mentioned in any of the posts. However, Individuals close to Maya have confirmed that Kaisha was aware of the engagement. There were no direct threats made online or reported to police. But friends later stated that Kaisha had expressed discontent about Maya moving on and described her behavior as distantly hostile after the engagement became public. Maya's decision to go public with her engagement was seen as a turning point in her personal life. It signified a shift from years of single parenting and intermittent relationships to the pursuit of a more structured family unit. She had informed her inner circle that she planned to move into a larger residence with her fiancé within 6 months. They had begun discussions about combining incomes, setting up a new bank account, and enrolling the children in a school closer to the fiancé's workplace. There were no formal reports or protective measures taken by Maya against any former partners during this transition. Law enforcement has since reviewed her digital correspondence and phone records and confirmed that she did not anticipate any physical threat following the engagement. The night of February 25th, 2024 began as a routine social outing for Maya Simmons and ended with her being fatally shot in a parking lot outside a local Georgia nightclub. This section provides a comprehensive, factual account of what happened that night, who was involved, the sequence of events, and the available evidence, based on witness statements, police reports, and surveillance footage. On the evening of the incident, Maya Simmons arrived at a local nightclub located on the outskirts of Macon, Georgia. The occasion was a birthday celebration hosted by a mutual friend. Maya was accompanied by 2 female friends and had no documented expectation that her ex-partner, Kaisha Simmons Birch, would be present at the venue. Maya's arrival was logged by the nightclub's exterior camera system at 14 p.m. The footage showed her exiting a vehicle, engaging in conversation with her friends, and entering the club without incident. The club was moderately crowded, with roughly 60 to 70 attendees that night. Security staff at the entrance confirmed that Maya and her party passed the ID check and entered without any disturbance. Kaisha Simmons Birch arrived separately at the same nightclub at 10:47 p.m., according to security footage and witness testimony. She entered alone and appeared agitated, based on her body language observed by staff and other patrons. She was seen scanning the crowd shortly after entering and reportedly remained inside for less than 20 minutes before exiting the club and waiting outside near the parking lot. Multiple eyewitnesses later confirmed that Kaisha had not been invited to the event. There was no documented prior communication between Maya and Kaisha regarding attendance at the party. At 11:21 p.m., Maya exited the nightclub with her 2 friends. Surveillance footage from a nearby business and audio captured by a parked vehicle's dashcam provide partial details of the events that followed. As Maya walked toward her vehicle, Kaisha approached her from the sidewalk near the club entrance. Witnesses described Kaisha's tone as confrontational. A verbal exchange occurred between the 2 women in the presence of Maya's friends. According to statements from her friends and at least 3 bystanders, Kaisha confronted Maya about her recent engagement to a new partner. This confrontation quickly escalated from verbal disagreement to hostile shouting. Bystanders reported hearing Kaisha accuse Maya of disrespect and betrayal. Maya reportedly tried to de-escalate the situation by asking Kaisha to leave and repeating that she did not want any trouble. Within 90 seconds of the initial verbal exchange, Kaisha retrieved a handgun from her waistband. Security footage did not capture the full view of the firearm being drawn, but showed a sudden withdrawal motion followed by immediate chaos as bystanders began running. At least 2 gunshots were fired. Maya was struck in the chest and collapsed beside her vehicle. On the night of the incident, law enforcement received multiple emergency calls around 10:36 p.m., reporting gunfire in the parking lot of a local nightclub in Georgia. Witnesses stated that 2 women were involved in a heated exchange moments before shots were fired. Emergency services, police and EMS, were dispatched to the scene within minutes. Upon arrival, officers found Maya Simmons lying unresponsive near the entrance of the parking lot. She had sustained multiple gunshot wounds to her upper torso. Emergency medical personnel assessed her condition and pronounced her dead at the scene. A perimeter was established around the crime scene, and witnesses were detained for questioning. The area was secured with police tape, and shell casings were collected as evidence. Surveillance footage from nearby businesses was also seized to support the investigation. Within hours, Investigators identified Kaisha Simmons Birch as the primary suspect. She had reportedly fled the scene immediately after the shooting, but was located and apprehended later that night. Police tracked her down using eyewitness descriptions, vehicle identification, and traffic camera footage. Kaisha Simmons Birch was taken into custody and transported to the county detention center in the early hours of the following morning. She was formally charged with 1 count of first-degree murder, along with associated charges, including illegal possession of firearm, discharging a firearm in public, and endangering public safety. Kaisha did not resist arrest and was reportedly cooperative during initial processing. Following her arrest, a preliminary hearing was held within 72 hours. During this session, the prosecution presented the probable cause behind the charges, citing witness testimonies, forensic evidence, and video surveillance that showed Kaisha in possession of a firearm and firing multiple shots toward Maya Simmons. The judge ruled that there was sufficient evidence to proceed with formal charges and denied bail due to the nature of the crime and potential flight risk. The case was transferred to the Superior Court of the county, where official trial proceedings began. The timeline is as follows. Week 1 post-arrest. Kaisha was assigned a public defender after waiving her right to a private attorney. Month 1, a grand jury reviewed the evidence and returned an indictment on all primary charges. Month 2, arraignment was held, where Kaisha entered a plea of not guilty to all charges. Month 3 to 5, pre-trial motions were filed. The defense sought to suppress certain pieces of evidence, including social media posts and statements made to the police after arrest. The prosecution filed motions to allow character witnesses and introduce digital communications between Kaisha and Maya as evidence of motive. Month 6, a hearing was held on the admissibility of these evidentiary materials. The judge allowed most of the prosecution's requests, but limited certain testimony deemed speculative or prejudicial. Month 8, jury selection began. Over 150 potential jurors were screened over a 2-week period. A final jury of 12 members and 2 alternates was seated. Month 9, the trial officially commenced. The prosecution argued that the murder was premeditated and motivated by jealousy and unresolved emotional conflict stemming from the couple's past relationship. They presented security footage showing Kaisha's vehicle parked at the scene before Maya's arrival, eyewitness testimony stating Kaisha confronted Maya, and ballistic evidence linking the recovered weapon to the fatal gunshots. The defense acknowledged that Kaisha was present but claimed the shooting was not premeditated and occurred in the heat of the moment. They attempted to establish a narrative of provocation and emotional distress, asserting that Kaisha did not come to the scene with the intent to kill. Multiple witnesses testified, including a forensic expert who confirmed the bullet trajectory matched close-range discharge, a nightclub employee who observed the confrontation, a friend of Maya's who recounted prior threats allegedly made by Kaisha, although these were not documented with law enforcement. The trial lasted 3 weeks. After deliberating for 2 full days, the jury returned a unanimous guilty verdict on all counts. The sentencing phase took place 2 weeks later. Kaisha Simmons Birch was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Additional concurrent sentences were applied for the weapons and public safety charges. Following sentencing, the defense team filed notice of appeal, citing judicial bias and improper jury instruction as potential grounds. As of now, the appeal remains under review. The death of Maya Simmons triggered a wave of public attention across the city of Georgia and beyond. Community members organized multiple vigils to honor her memory and bring awareness to the dangers of domestic violence. These vigils took place in public parks, near the site of the incident and at local churches. During these gatherings, attendees observed moments of silence and laid flowers and candles at memorial sites. These public ceremonies were intended to pay respect to Maya while drawing attention to the severity of violence affecting families in the area. Local leaders, including city council members and police officials, attended some of these events, using the platform to communicate the need for increased community vigilance and support for victims of domestic violence. The vigils served not only as memorials but also as forums where the community could express concern and solidarity. Alongside these gatherings, the case sparked discussions on 2 significant public policy issues: domestic violence prevention and gun control. Advocacy groups called for stricter enforcement of laws aimed at protecting individuals from abusive partners. The case was cited in local news outlets and social media posts to highlight gaps in existing protective measures, such as restraining order enforcement and support services for victims. On the gun control front, the shooting led to renewed calls for tighter regulations on firearm access, especially concerning individuals with a history of domestic disputes. Some lawmakers and activists urged the implementation of background checks focused specifically on domestic violence records, arguing that such measures could prevent similar tragedies. Public forums and panel discussions were organized to explore policy options and community safety improvements. The media coverage of the incident emphasized connection between domestic conflicts and gun violence, contributing to a broader national conversation on these intertwined issues. News outlets presented facts and statistics related to domestic violence rates and gun-related homicides to inform the public and encourage legislative action. The community's response extended beyond public memorials and policy discussions to practical support efforts for Maya's 8 children. Following her death, local organizations, neighbors, and charitable groups mobilized to assist the children who suddenly faced the loss of their primary caregiver. Fundraisers were quickly organized to provide financial aid for the children's immediate needs. These fundraisers included online donation campaigns, benefit events at local venues, and contributions from businesses. The collective funds aimed to cover essential expenses such as housing, food, clothing, education costs, and counseling services. Several nonprofit organizations specializing in child welfare and domestic violence support became involved. They coordinated to ensure the children were placed in safe environments with extended family members or approved guardians while providing emotional and psychological support services. These organizations also worked to connect the children with educational support programs to help maintain stability during this period of upheaval. Local schools offered assistance by waiving fees and providing access to school supplies. Community members volunteered their time to mentor and tutor the children, aiming to reduce disruption to their academic progress. Religious institutions also contributed by offering counseling and organizing community outreach programs tailored to children who have experienced trauma. Social workers and child welfare officials remain involved to monitor the children's well-being and ensure their living conditions met safety standards. This coordination was important to prevent further hardship and ensure the children's needs were met comprehensively. In addition to financial and educational support, the community sought to create an environment of emotional support. Groups formed peer support circles where caregivers and children could share experiences and coping strategies. These efforts were designed to foster resilience and provide a network of care around the children. The reaction from the community to the death of Maya Simmons was multifaceted. Public vigils and memorial events marked the collective mourning and remembrance of a mother who lost her life in a violent act. These gatherings also served as catalysts for broader discussions on domestic violence and gun control policies, pushing local authorities and advocacy groups to address systemic issues related to these problems. Simultaneously, the community rallied to provide immediate and long-term support for Maya's 8 children. Fundraisers, social services, educational assistance, and counseling programs were mobilized to help the children through a difficult transition period following their mother's death. These actions demonstrated a coordinated effort to respond practically to the consequences of a tragedy. This section highlights the tangible community response without emotional language, providing clear facts about public reaction, ongoing support mechanisms, and policy discussions resulting from the case. It sets a foundation for understanding how a community can respond to a violent incident through both mourning and action. If this story gripped your heart and left you questioning the truth, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with others who need to hear it. For more chilling true crime stories that dive deep into the mysteries behind these tragedies, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest updates, investigations, and thought-provoking discussions. Thank you for being part of this journey with us as we uncover the truth and seek justice. Together, we can make a difference. Stay safe, stay aware, and we'll see you in the next one.